Welcome everyone on today's Metal3 Community meeting. My name is Adam Rosman, and today I will be your host. Today is the 16th of April, 2025, and as usual, we would start with introductions. I think I see one new participant. Not sure if you would like to introduce yourself shortly. Now is the time, but it's not mandatory.
Hi everyone. So I am a SD at Microsoft, and I recently came across the IPM solutions and that the Metal3 community is providing. So basically, we were exploring a use case related to happy acquiring IPs and that can leverage the Metal3 IPM. And apart from that, we also use that my for a bare metal use cases Metal3 in the Microsoft. So we have been a it's been a long journey for us to use the Metal3 product. So, yep, that's how I came across it. And last week, I basically proposed a few features in the IPM, and those were accepted. And I think PR is also in the kind of a approval state. So, yep, happy to be part of the community. Contribute.
Thanks for the introduction and welcome to the MetaCube community. Yeah, I think I heard about your your changes in the CAPI, and yeah, I think there will be some limited discussion today related to that. We have one pull request in the triage queue that is related to that IPM.
Okay.
Okay, I think we can continue. So, general reminders, meeting is recorded. If anyone would like to have the project uh, with contributions, please feel free to follow that link that I clicked in the meeting notes, or filter with the GitHub issue filter for good first issue and help wanted labels, and by contributing solving those issues, you would help the project greatly. If someone feels that the project or organization you are working for, participating in, would be okay with disclosing that you are a MetaCube adopter, please do that via modifying the adopters.md file in the root of the community repository, same way as others done, via pushing a pull request. And that would also very much help us and the CNCF to gauge the adoption level of the MetaCube and organizations that are using our project or benefiting from our project. Related to incubation, I think there was no official communication. A week and a half ago, I visited KubeCon. I heard very positive feedback in private about this, so I am looking forward to very soon see some positive updates, or at least conclude the due diligence process. Let's hope for the best. And if someone is interested about the statistics related to the project or the deliverables or the pipelines, please check out the links. And before I forget, of course, if anyone runs into any issue related to pull request testing and you think that the error is not directly related to your pull request, then please create a PR, create an issue in the affected repository and link that issue to the MetaCube CI tracker. So that way we can much more efficiently track these CI problems. Okay, I think there was nothing carried over from last week. Yeah, and I will ask Adil for the recording also, and I will upload it to YouTube. Okay, so I think we can continue with the working group updates. And the first working group is the scalability, higher scalability.
Yeah, hello folks. There's some really good news here. Ironic standalone operator functional tests are now running in HA mode, which means Minikube starts recontrol plane nodes. So we're testing actual daemon set architecture and we're testing actual RPC, which gives me much more confidence in the HA architecture actually working. I intend once all the patches emerge to move the corresponding feature gate to beta status, and I hope that the next release of Ironic standalone operator will actually be the first release which we declare production ready. I need a few patches, this one bug fix, and a couple of testing improvements. I need to get rid of the deprecated Ironic database API, and on that point, I'll hand over the project to the community entirely. Yeah, that's basically my news. I'm not sure if we actually have anyone else in the working group anymore. So probably with me being involved in other things, the working group will cease to exist, at least at this point.
Yeah, first of all, thanks for the updates. It's nice that you collected all three because now it makes more sense to me what to review. So I will try to take a look as I did before. Related to the working group, uh, yeah, you are technically right, but I would like to keep it alive because this working group has produced a lot and a lot of stuff, and we are still kind of as a community picking up the the tools and features that this group has implemented, Hui and Mohammed and you. But now that people left the project, and you are finishing up on the IRSO MVPs, yeah, it's quite questionable. But even if it gets empty, I would keep this working group, honestly. Maybe in the future we can reboot it.
Yeah, and to be clear, it only applies to the working group. We haven't lost interest in IRSO or in anything else. It's just in a form of working group. I probably won't be chairing it anymore for now because we might get renewed interests at some point, but not like not this quarter at least. Maybe not next as well.
Yeah, makes sense, absolutely. And I mean, yeah, but I think if anyone has an interest even in testing or something, yeah, anyone can just present um, features or proposals under this working group. But yeah, but and Dimitri, thank you for all the work you have done. That's like immense amount of work related to this. Okay, anyone has questions, comments related to the IRSO functional tests and HA mode and alike?
Yeah, just wanted to say thanks to Dimitri. Like this was a really great work, and for the working group keeping it alive. If it, I am not working too much now currently taking with the technical stuffs, but I can still be there in the working group and communicate things in our downstream in that sense, and maybe also help Dimitri pushing out things if it's needed. But mostly, I wanted to thank him for the work that he has done, and also folks who have done previously.
Yep. Okay. And then you have one other thing, the MariaDB operator. I have. Okay, yeah, I've seen this one.
Yeah, so sorry, I couldn't figure out how to install MariaDB operator without Helm, so I guess it's easier to use Helm in the CIs and to fight it further. It seems to work well with both Sort Manager and MariaDB operator. So
Yeah, this is in my review queue. I will review it soon, very soon. Uh, yeah. Okay. And we will have a discussion related to kind of that. I've seen you already commented on that, so we will come back to this. Anyone, any comment, question related to MariaDB operator? Keep in mind that we will have some discussion about that here. Okay, if nothing, then the next is the ARM working group. So on KubeCon, I have visited the representatives of ARM on the solution showcase floor, and I got some contacts. Let's see when will I have time to reach out. But they also gave a very good idea that maybe we should advertise the project in the ARM development forums, and there might be some interest from who knows who. And I think that's kind of a good idea. Well, I will try to do that when I feel that it's the right time. Any comment, questions related to the ARM working group? Okay, if nothing, then we can continue with the release team and the roadmap. Yeah, you probably have seen it on Slack. I will send a mail about these two also, but the CapM3 v1.10 and the BMO v0.10 beta releases are out. So they are there for testing purposes. And then I hope shortly we will have proper releases. I'm not sure about the exact date. I would need to discuss that with Peppy, and yeah, mostly with Peppy. And also thanks to Adil, we have noticed and fixed some release build related issues, and we are not sure what happened, but the GitHub token handling went haywire within the merge workflow that we were using to build the release artifacts and generate the tags or generate the nodes. It was actually failing with the node generation, but now it's fixed. Let's see if it pops up somewhere else. Any question, comments related to the beta releases? Okay, if nothing, then yeah, the first one from the discussion topics is something that you can also find on the Slack. And yeah, please go on, Ricardo.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, this is something that like happened kind of suddenly. And it's very subtle because the install. So it's weird because apparently the installation. So we're talking about the latest upgrades in Ansible collections, and so I did some tests, and again, it's very subtle because the installation it goes well. So everything seems okay. And then when it comes to running the actual modules, everything explodes. So we need to be kind of careful here on what we want to do. At the moment, there's a workaround that was merged yesterday to pin the versions of I think it's utils and netcommon, if I'm not mistaken. And so Ansible 10 or Ansible 9 would work, but Ansible 10 currently is set only for Ubuntu 24, and we don't run that in CI yet. So we can actually run Ansible 10 also in Ubuntu 22, I think, but I don't know if we want to upgrade that at this point. We're running 8 at the moment. And we're also running, we're running a very old version in CentOS 9, but I proposed the PR to fix that and go to 8. The problem with CentOS 9 is that CentOS 9 has Python 3.9, and we cannot run anything higher than Ansible 8 there. using the default binary. And yes, using a defined Python binary would mean having some probably like having issues with other packages, as Dimitri commented there, like firewall DNF, SC Linux. So I don't know if we actually want to do that. There's also like, I think probably we should keep Ubuntu 22 with Ansible 9 if we want to bump the version, so from 8 to 9. Keep CentOS 9 with 8 and cap the Ansible collections that we use there. And then since we are looking into migrating or, well, anyway, testing, like migrating to Ubuntu 24 and at some point eventually to CentOS 10, probably we can, well, just unpin whatever versions we have once we do that migration. Other suggestions or ideas are welcome.
Yeah, from my side, if we don't see the necessity of uplifting these libraries or Ansible modules or what these are, I am actually fine just pinning them until we are using distros that can handle these. Honestly, if there are no, like, how to say, like negative side effects staying on these older versions.
Yeah, that's totally fine. I mean, there's I haven't seen any like any real requirements to update the versions there. At some point, once we move to Ubuntu 24 and CentOS 10, we can definitely remove the pins. Or if we want to do it before, we can again update the version of Ansible that we use in Ubuntu 22, and in case there are some differences, for example, we will see it there. But it's okay either way.
Yeah, I will just write down my point.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, one interesting thing is that in Ironic Upstream, we're actually running MetalCube DevEnv on Ubuntu 24. And so we're using Ansible 10 there, and it works fine. Well, with legacy boot, not with UEFI.
I wanted to ask what's our plan with the Ubuntu 24 and Metal Cube CI? And then do you know who was actually taking it forward?
Could you repeat, please, Kashif? I didn't understand you well.
Who is actually taking this Ubuntu 24 work in Metal Cube CI? Is it someone in our team?
Yeah, someone, but I don't know. I don't recall. I know who were the people discussing it 2 weeks ago, but I don't know who got like this action item or task.
So there's an issue open to create the image for the CI, the Ubuntu 24 image for the CI. We discussed a couple of times with Tuomo about that, but we like never found the actual time to do it.
Yeah, we have some priority items downstream, but I'll try to at least start the discussion again, hopefully tomorrow, within the team and see if we can actually manage some time for this. I think we probably should already be doing that.
Okay, and then okay. Sorry, it's a bit slow because for some reason the Zoom is messing up my Google Docs, or maybe the fact that I'm zoomed in. I don't know. Okay, any other comments, questions related to this Ansible package stuff? The PRs, by the way, that are related to this are on hold. Okay, if no other points or comments, then next one is from me, and it is kind of the continuation of the discussion related to using the generic MariaDB image slash MariaDB operator. Dimitri has already shown it here that he is integrating the MariaDB operator for the IRSO, and eventually the default way of deploying Ironic with MetaCube will be the IRSO. So I think soon we can remove our own MariaDB image and then the related build pipelines and archive the repository for this 1.10 release cycle. I have still pushed a tag and built an image for the beta, and we were discussing it with Pepe, and we think that okay, for the 1.10 it's still fine to release, but and then Dimitri commented that before we start the removal, let's push out the IRSO 0.4, which is fine. So let's say, would it be fine after the 1.10 release cycles and then the IRSO 0.4 has been released, that after that we would basically stop building it and put a deprecation warning, or should we for the 1.11 release cycle still build it but then put some deprecation warning into the docs or somewhere, and then with the 1.12 we would not build it anymore and archive the repository? What do you think? Should we already remove it for the 1.11 cycle or only from the 1.12 cycle with some heads up? That's basically the question. So I will write it here because I might be explaining it weirdly.
So we know that there might be people who use MariaDB image now, so getting them more time is probably a friendly thing to do. Like we used MariaDB image long ago, we no longer do that for many years, but I know that use has only relatively recently migrated away from it. So since it doesn't take a lot of effort to maintain, I'd say it's fine to maybe even really like announce deprecation now and remove it in 2 releases. I think even that would be pretty okay.
I agree. By the way, I'm curious to know, Dimitri, in your downstream, are you at least testing MariaDB, or how do you actually do it? Because I don't think we are testing it in Metal3 CI at least.
Sorry, I didn't capture the question.
Is it like my question was, are you testing in your downstream or somewhere this MariaDB use case? Because we don't probably test it anymore in Metal3 CI for long.
We
So
stopped long
I was
ago.
okay, yeah.
The only place
So
where
we
it's
don't
now
even
tested,
go ahead,
it's
please.
only tested in Ironic standalone operator functional CI. That's the only place I believe where MariaDB image is still tested.
Okay, but that's already indicates that it is working at least. Okay.
Yeah, it works well enough to start Ironic and do operations on it.
Okay, sounds good. So if I captured your opinion, and I'm fine with that, if I understood it correctly. So you say that we could announce it now. Let's say I send an email, put that in some docs, and then from 1.12, so two release from now, we would not provide it any longer. So we would provide it for 1.10, 1.11, and 1.12 would not have an associated MariaDB image from us, but only from the operator or wherever
Right.
people want it. Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. Okay. Yeah, I'm fine with that. That aligns with what I have discussed with Peppy in the release team. Sounds good. Sounds good. Any other opinions, comments, questions related to this? Just write here that I'm okay with this. Okay. Okay. So we have to do some triaging. I already started. Went through a few. Oh, but this is not the triage board. Okay. We have this one that was once even closed, but I reopened it because we got some logs. I think there are quite a lot of material here that someone would need to read. I don't want to force you to make a decision because it's basically a classic deployment issue, and we had issues in the past with setting provider ID, but I don't know. I would need to digest this additional logs and CRs that we have received, but maybe even that's not enough. But there are some workarounds also mentioned here. I don't know. I don't really see a clear picture still, but I'm also not sure what to ask. So I think we can skip this. I would need someone, or I would need myself to take time to think about this one. Then there is the allow users for create a node with attached disk. I think this has been discussed properly here, and it's not something that we can yet in this forum accept. Then Ironic IP downloader permission denied. Yeah, I think the answer was provided, so we don't need to look into it. It's not a bug technically, or at least we don't think so. Okay, then Ironic agent times out by cleaning the node. Yeah, I think the response here was that it could be anything. Yeah, this is again, wait, we need more info here. So these were the kind of problematic ones, and I think they will stay for now in this state. And I think one thing I can do is I will remove the stale label from this. Because this was closed once, but there was not like we have not paid proper attention to this, I feel. So I want to give more time to this issue. Has this been updated now? Interesting, it's not removing it. Might have typed something incorrectly. Okay. Then, and this is what I mentioned related to the IP claim. I would really like everybody to join this conversation about retiring the IP claim and then IP address CRD and use the ones that I provided by copy. It's a very, very interesting discussion. I have to ask Peppy to present the situation or the plan also for the community. I already listened to a presentation and the discussion related to this, and I think this is the way to go to keep the IPAM maintainable. And I don't think we would lose any sort of functionality by doing this. So I think I will.
Sorry, Adam, are we ready for IPAM to never be usable outside of CAPM3 context? I know it's probably isn't now, but there's interest in like metal cube IPAM, as in with bare metal operator.
So how I understood how this would work is it would be usable. It's really just the 2CR that basically has to be registered and used. So it's not that without CAPI you could not use it. It's that just that we would not maintain two sets of CRs, but those CRs, those objects can be registered without CAPI, as I understand. So the MetaCube or the CAPM3 itself would generate a CAPI like a CAPI style or a CAPI style CR for the claim, but it would be still the CAPM3. It would still happen between the CAPM3 and then the IPAM, as I understand. So even without CAPI, it would work as far as I understand. But that's why I want Peppy to clarify these things, because she's the expert on this, or at least compared to me.
I got it. Yeah, let's clarify it because it's becoming an interesting topic. More and more people are curious about standalone networking, and not necessarily in the copy context.
Yep. Okay. Okay. Image build protest. I understand this, but I don't understand the title. So the text is about testing the CI images after they have been built, which is fine. That they can boot and we can log in or bootstrap and dev. I get that, but I don't really understand how the PRAO, like what like I don't understand the title. So I will accept this because the text makes sense, but I will ask for a retitle because the title is very confusing for me. But if you can make sense of it, I won't ask for a retitle. But I don't know. It confuses me.
Yeah, I understand like the it's having just a build step probably for each image, for each container that we build. Oh, we have something similar downstream.
Yeah. Okay, next one. Failed IP address claims or IP claims stuck forever. And there have been quite a lot of... Okay, this has been discussed, seems. Yeah, I remember the discussion. So, no, that was a different discussion. I could not, I was not present this week. Okay, messages this coming. Okay, makes sense. Okay, was that the bug? Okay, what else? This was an interesting one. I stopped when I was reading this one. So why list of ports return non-empty port list? And then the explanation, like the situation is that there have been two BMHs. None of them has a boot MAC specified, but then at some point the BMO logs, if I understand correctly, these are BMO logs, start to complain about having a conflict between the two BMHs because both of them have empty string as a MAC, and then the MAC addresses are conflicting, which is very funny. But I think this is a legit bug. Yeah, we need to do a reproduction, but if it's true, that's a weird edge case because if I remember correctly, we do not, like you cannot really properly use these in MetaCube context without a boot MAC. But then you might instantiate the object themselves without a boot MAC, and there later. But if they are in this state of readiness or before being used, then this error or conflict arises. So I feel this is a legitimate bug. I don't know what's your opinion about this.
I was on the patch pretty curious why we ended up listing all ports with an empty MAC address since we require boot MAC address. Kind of weird.
Yeah, but
But anyways, the bug is probably, if you do that, it's a bug. Yeah, definitely.
yeah. I also thought that it would not accept it without a bootmap, but it might be that that's that's the main bug, that we allow like the creation of or saving the object without a bootmap. Okay, next one, make JSON RPC port configurable. Have you seen this? But you already
No, I
knew
haven't
it.
seen it. I have not seen this, and I need to think if it's sufficient or whether we actually need to know this JSON RPC port. And I suspect the latter. I need to ponder this comment a bit longer. It may be possible now, but it may not stay possible in the future. And that is just a patch created accidentally or bug. So don't look there.
Okay, so you will look into that. So should I leave it like this without like
Yeah,
it's
please just leave it so that I don't forget.
Okay. Next one, tag release point to latest image. What is so? I don't want to say. But yes, let's see. Charged.
It's something we are going to fix with the first release with a branch. Feel free to respond this way. So yeah, with 0.4 release, we are going to create a branch first, then change all the versions to point to the right place, and then tag 0.4. So that is going to be fixed next time.
Okay. Okay. Is it okay like this?
Yep, thank you.
Mhm. Oh, what was the conclusion here? This is the last one. Okay.
Adam, quite unfortunately, you're going to be alone in a few minutes because
Yeah.
Ricardo just dropped and I need to drop in the next meeting too. So maybe we keep the rest for the next one.
Yeah, okay. I will check this one then later. This was the last one. Yeah, and I guess then no one asks questions, comments because there's only two of us left. So yep, yeah,
I'm afraid
thanks.
so, yes.
Yeah, thanks for participating and yeah, let's meet next week. And yeah, bye bye.
Back to then, goodbye.